right, so District 2 Sports Podcast are back with another episode. It's award season, fellas. We have some awards to give out tonight. But first, guys, how you doing?
Doing really well, Gregory. And, we do have some awards to give out, and I think I'll start it off right now.
Yeah, what award are you giving out, right now?
Well, we had a big contest at the beginning of this year.
Oh,
Oh,
gosh.
Yep. And it's hard for me to do this. I'm just going to have to be honest with y'all. It's going to be hard for me to carry on and read this aloud. But,
Better
we
you than
did have
me.
a, yeah, so, the three of us, we went down the line, every conference in the NCAA. And we did not pick a regular season winner. We picked the AQ, which would be the tournament winner as designated. I made a fatal mistake. I shouldn't be punished for this right now, but I'm accepting all responsibility for this right now because in the Summit League, St. Thomas, for whatever reason, is not eligible for the could not go to the NCAA tournament. So they could win the tournament, their own tournament, but they couldn't go to the tournament. So there would have
Like
had to
damn
be
you.
yeah, there would have had to be some. I'm sure there would have come down to a fight between the three of us. So I went ahead and reluctantly just passed it up. And I just called St. Thomas and told them, hey, let Omaha win the tournament so we don't have to go through all this. So word got out, and Omaha, which unfortunately was Devon's team, went ahead and proceeded to win that Summit League tournament. So anyway, the results are Devon is our first District 2 sports podcast
It really,
NCAA
it really wasn't
tournament
close at
champion.
all.
You don't
it
think it
really
was?
wasn't. And it
Y'all,
could have been,
wait,
I think
whoa,
it
whoa,
could have
What
been
was
a
whoa.
the
lot
final
worse.
tally?
Wait a minute. How do y'all get that it wasn't close? It was very close.
What was the final tally?
Devon finished at 9. Big Greg finishes at 7.
Oh, okay.
And
Mm,
Gregory finishes 6. And the NCAA
mm.
finished at 8.
Well, the thing is, I think Devin had a chance to win like five or six more, but his teams just didn't pull through. But I mean, what a unbelievable pick amount of picks there for Devin. I mean,
I mean,
he could have really crushed us.
here you go. Here's his winners: VCU, Lipscomb, Houston, High Point, San Diego, Norfolk State, Guilford, American, and Omaha. And Devin, you were the first winner of this award, and you did have the first AQ in Guilford, but now you have the um first out in the NCAA tournament, which is American. So I just wanted to let you know that. So you qualify for everything. I had Bryant, UNCW, Yale, SIUE, Florida, which was a fantastic pick in my behalf. I'm just going to tell you
I
that right
agree.
now.
I 100% agree with that one.
Zags, which was tremendous. The I just want to let everybody know the Zags beat St. Anthony's once again for the WCC title. 20 out of the last 22 tournaments in the Gonzaga Invitational goes to the Gonzaga Bulldogs. And then I had GCU. Gregory, you had Duke, St. John's, Montana, Akron, Drake, and McNeese State.
I think my mid majors that I picked, Montana, Drake, McNeese State, I think they all have a chance to do some damage. So I think I might be the real winner here.
I would have said McNeese State has some real damage, could do some real damage until today's episode of drama.
Some strong offers are going to be there in Raleigh now. So
I just
watch
cannot
out, Carolina.
believe, I cannot believe they gave up um, that coach like that. I cannot believe they gave all that information out. What's his name? Will Wade?
Will Wade.
Well, hey, look, he can't get caught for cheating anymore like he did at LSU. So I mean, it's all on the table now. We'll see just how good of a poker player he truly is now.
Yeah, that'll be
So
interesting.
anyway, I guess we got to give congratulations. So yeah, I just thought.
Also, y'all two need to do your brackets. I posted on Twitter and on Facebook to do your brackets.
Okay.
We actually have I think like I don't know maybe like 10 right now. So I'm sure we will influx tomorrow for the thing starts. But like I said, hey, you get a free shirt free koozie, and if you want to, you can come on here and talk with us too. So we'll let you on for an episode.
Well, I mean, if I'm not going to put full out a bracket because if I do it, I'll be able to come on here and talk and get a free koozie and shirt. So I
Well,
mean,
I think
nobody else will be allowed.
that's the fun of it. If we three win it, we can't no one else gets on. So I get to keep my shirt. Try to take down District 2 podcast.
So District Two's in hot water after this night anyway. So we'll see how it goes. Oh,
Before we get to
Devin,
the, oh, go
you
ahead.
didn't ask Devin how he's doing. I mean, I gave
Man,
him all the
I
kudos.
was waiting. I was waiting for that. If you want to know how my bracket's looking right now, I have the Gators coming out on top in mine, but I also have an award to give out tonight.
Oh,
Thank you, Devin. I appreciate you. Appreciate you recognizing it.
A guy who has been through a tremendous amount of turmoil this season, Hubert Davis. Hubert Davis. I never had a doubt that he would get UNC to the tourney there, and then absolutely bulldozing San Diego State like that. Never had a doubt. So
I texted y'all this that they could be a Sweet 16 team.
he
I
also
think
said Hubert Davis needs to be fired when
He
you heard
did.
Will Wade was going to
He
NC
did
State.
say that. I mean, he, he
I
did.
mean, a
He set a
guy who
landmine up for Hubert as soon as he get news on Will Wade.
I'm just
Uh,
telling you. I think Will Wade's he has. There's no rules anymore, so he can do what he wants to, and he got talent down to LSU. So I think there's some talent there in Raleigh.
the whole thing is, I hope he brought some money from LSU because he ain't gonna get it out of the ACC or
Mm.
NC State. So, um, yeah, Devin, you're right. I actually said Carolina wasn't going to make it during all of our podcasts. I said they would go 9-11 in the conference. They wound up go 13-7, I believe it was. But I told y'all the other night I did some research and I did not feel bad whatsoever. I kind of felt bad about them being on the bubble as far as against whoever else. I don't feel bad. I mean, after comparing, and I'm gonna tell y'all straight up. 6 and 12 teams don't deserve to be in the tournament. I don't care what they take, what conference they play in, or what their name is. Texas and Oklahoma should not be in this tournament. You heard it from
mm,
Big Rig.
I
And
agree with you.
if you cannot finish, and I'll go another step further. The other four, Mississippi State, Georgia, Vanderbilt, and I'm missing one more. They're all 8 and 10. Should not be there. You got to
I
finish
I'm okay
500
with
in
that.
your conference. You
I'm okay
got
with
to
that.
finish 500 in your conference. So the next thing I'll say is you have your rankings like football does for the first 6 weeks, and then from week 7 through whatever, you the computer, however you want to dial it in, the computer handles it from there on. And that's what dictates the top 68 teams that go into the tournament. Forget the tournaments now. Forget every tournament out there. You got to play in the top 68 or got to finish in the top
Mm.
68.
I just
does
think the SEC was this is like I don't know the last time this has happened, but it's been a while. But the SEC was just so dominant this year. I think they deserve more teams than usual. Six and 12 is a little much for me. I agree with that, but 8 and 10, or if you're close to 500, I think you deserve a chance,
Well, the
especially in
other
that
thing
does
conference.
is, and listen, I did do a little research on the conferences. Okay, so I kept saying, how does the SEC get all this exposure? Why is the SEC this? Why is it everything compared to the SEC? And I found out firsthand, and I'll go ahead and admit it. The SEC won 80, I think it was 86 or 88% of their ball games outside of conference play. And if I'm not mistaken, they were 200 and something in like 30 out of conference, which was by far superior to the Big 12 and the Big 10. I think Big 10 was second, Big 12 was third, and then the ACC was only at 67%. I think their stats were 144 and 83, if I'm not mistaken. So ACC, I mean, I guess what they say is right.
Pure
But,
dominance.
but I would love to have had a picture. And is his name Pat Kelsey?
Yeah, oh, I saw that too. When they got the 8 seed, he said, "What 8 seed?" He did. I think he just said he did something
I
like
would have
that.
loved to have had a picture of that when he got that 8 seed. He's playing Louisville is playing whom, and then a chance to play Auburn.
Yeah. Thing is, they're playing at home basically.
That's ridiculous, though.
Well, not at home, but they're playing in Kentucky. So I mean, can be
Lose two
too mad.
games. Yeah, they playing in Lexington, ain't they?
Yeah.
He lose 2 games in the conference or whatever, something like that in the conference, 3 games in the conference, and get an 8 seed and a chance to play. Oh, they're playing. Are they playing UConn? No, no, no.
No,
I got it.
Florida plays winner of UConn
I got
and
it right here. I'm sitting here trying to guess, and oh, they have to play Creighton. So I would have loved to have a
Mm,
picture when he. Robin said they looked like they was all in prison garb when they were on the
he
selection
looked
show
shocked.
too. He did. So anyway,
Mm.
that's my. I can actually sit here and say I could actually see the SEC. Um, as much as I just ripped them apart a minute ago, I can also say that I can also see them with 4 teams in the NCAA, which would make a first forever.
Yeah.
So
does the West Virginia governor does he sue San Diego State after
I,
I
that's
mean
who I
does he
would
bring
sue.
them into I mean UNC beat them by 30 points and all the blame is on Carolina for being the last team in the tournament.
They boat race
Listen,
San Diego
boat
State is
racing.
all.
I could care less if Carolina wins another game in the NCAA tournament. I mean, they showed that they're at least better than one team, so that's all that matters.
Exactly.
Especially with all these national media people who are losing their minds over it.
And there was a lot, and I heard it on Mad Dog Sports all day long yesterday. And yes, Carolina was 1-12 in quad ones. Yes, they were. And you know what the first thing they said after they beat San Diego last night, of San Diego State?
Mm-mm.
Not even a quad one win, it's a quad two win. So here we
Mm.
go again. So all I can say is they're playing with house money, and Mississippi. I'm just going to tell you right now, on Friday, you give them an extra day rest too. So on Friday, it could be Katie bar the door on Friday as well. So I mean, I'm just throwing it. Nobody else will say it, but I will. I think Mississippi needs to watch out.
Mm.
Mm.
Yep.
Should we get into some awards here?
Yeah, I'm fired up now. Let's
All right,
go.
let's
Let's
do some
do it.
awards. So with our award season, of course we can't give everybody, first team, and stuff like that. So we have to have some honorable mentions. So these kids, not that they're bad or anything, they just didn't make the 12. So they're still really good prospects in our area. So um, Victor, I know you had some stats on a few of them if you want to share those.
Look, and it's no excuses. It's no nothing from us. I mean, I don't think we have to feel bad about it. It's just the fact that there's some really good talent around here, and not everybody can be in the top 10, top 12, top 20. I mean, God, I wish I could give everybody a first team nod, but they don't even do that in the NCAA, so or the NBA. But just going down the list, no particular order. So let's just do this. Um, people, uh, honorable mentions are folks such as Zay Cobbs from GW High School in Danville. He averaged 13 and a half points a game, 3.3 rebounds a game, and 2.9 assists a game. Cam Brown from Salem, who probably and could have been on just about anybody's first team, 12.4 points a game, 5.5 rebounds a game. Somebody we took a lot of pride in following towards the end of the year was Cade Cadewood from Patrick Henry Glade Springs, 15.1 points per game, 5.7 rebounds a game, 3.3 assists from Patrick Henry Glade Springs. Another guy who, like I said, he's just a sophomore. That's the other thing we need to point out. We need to remember some of these kids will be back for 1, maybe 2, possibly even 3 years in some of these cases. But
Hmm.
Noah Farley from Floyd County High School, 15 and a half points a game, 2.6 rebounds, 2.1 assists, and 1.8 steals. Tristan Eisenhower, New Covenant, 12.9 points, 5.9 rebounds, and 5.1 assists. Ryan Jackson, who I think, if I'm not mistaken, was an All Seminole District pick. Let me see if I can find a stat on him. 9.8 points per game, 2.8 rebounds a game, and 3.9 assists per game. Our guy from New Covenant as well, Cole Murdoch, 15.1 points a game, 5.5 points. 5.5 rebounds a game, and 1.9 rebounds a game. Assists a game. Excuse me. A kid that me and Devin really took to, and look out for the next 3 years is all I got to say. Braden Ragland from Northside High School. He's just a freshman. Braden averaged 13.4 points a game, an astounding 9.7 rebounds a game and 1.1 assists a game. Another kid, freshman, GW High School. We saw this kid play against Northside and had a really good game. Isaac Smith already holds an offer from Old Dominion University. As a freshman, he averaged 15 points a game, 7.1 rebounds a game, 3.1 assists per game, and 2.8 steals per game. Um, Another kid we talked about earlier was Isaiah Perkins from Bassett. Kid lit it up with at least 20 and a half points a game. Not sure exactly how many rebounds he was averaging, but he was a monster on the boards. And then another kid from Cave Spring High School, Sean Turner.
Yeah. That's why I mentioned also Jaden Johnson there at Roanoke Catholic, Xavier and Wade Bland there at Stewart Hall. We didn't include our privates into the top 10 all year. So these are kids that come from our top 10 rankings throughout the year. So all these kids would be on those lists. So that's why we didn't include them. So yeah, but adding to that, I mean, we Prodigy Sims too at Eastern Midnight. We've covered them. Ethan Collins there at Wise Central. Arkell Ray, Channing DeCibio at Graham. So a lot of talent out there that we didn't put on Super 12, but like you said, we can't just put everybody in there. So gotta make some tough decisions. And I think this 12 plus our Player of the Year, um, just were above and beyond what anything we could put in there. So
Yeah.
um, but let's get to so you want to do it? So I'll go ahead and share my screen. We'll have our 12 here.
Can we name the player? Are you naming showing the whole screen first, or are you going to show the player first? How about if we call out the name and you share it?
All right, so our first kid here on our Super 12 here, uh, from a local high school that Devin went to, the Dan River Wildcats. You may be able to guess it, Jameer Reynolds. So let me go ahead and share here. Just a fantastic there, Dan River. They did pretty well. I think they made it to the region semifinals.
Yes.
Yeah, so pretty good year.
And listen, and this kid, without the mix of others, he could have very easily been our player of the year with the stats that he had. As you see on the screen, Jameer Reynolds averaged 22.2 points a game, 12.7 rebounds a game, 2.3 assists per game, and 1.8 steals per game. So
Mm.
heck of a year from Dan River High School and Coach Ben, Ben Elliott. Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But you could look at how tall is he? Like 6'6", 6'7"?
Yeah, I believe so. And he transferred in from if I'm not mistaken, Carlisle High School.
Wow. Yeah. I mean, you just look at his stature. He looks like a basketball player. So a
Yep.
senior, looking to play at the next level. So I hope he gets some looks. We'll share his name out around the ODAC and D2 and D3 ranks. So Jameer Reynolds there at Denver. So our first one of our Super 12 here. Our next guy, local prospect there
Wow.
at GW Danville, the Eagles, where Big Greg went to. It's Kobe Morrison.
Another wonderful thing. I mean, I guess I could say this about all 12, 13 of these kids. They all could have been the player of the year. They were all in consideration, that's for sure. But Kobe, GW High School, playing for his dad, DeMarcus Morrison, averaged 18.1 points a game, 5.5 assists a game, 5.5 rebounds a game, 5 assists a game, and 2.8 steals. So heck of a year under Coach Morrison over there.
Yeah, and, I mean, well, I watched highlights of him against Northside, um, and you mentioned to Coach Pope at the end of the game that they held him to I think the third quarter before he scored his first points, and GW went as Kobe Morrison went, so he's a big part of their offense there, and um, but he has a bright future
Got
ahead of him.
another
He's only
year.
a junior. Yep,
Yeah,
only a
got
junior.
another year. Yep.
That's two down. So our next one here is another Pennsylvania County prospect, Rayshawn Logan out of Gretna High School. Really good on the football field. I think a lot of his stats and his highlights come on the football field, but a really good basketball player as well. He's a junior guard slash forward. Averaged about 18 points per game and 9 rebounds per game for the Gretna Hawks, who had probably one of the better seasons they've had in quite some time. So I know the basketball's getting better in Gretna, but this kid right here can kind of do it all.
And I should be ashamed of myself for not attending one of his games or seeing him and Jameer hook up in one of their games as well. So, probably going to need to get back out there next year and take a look at him. And hey, he's another prospect for Player of the Year as well.
Yeah. I mean, he's like you said, he's only a junior as well, like Kobe is. I mean, give him another year to kind of get into the weight room and just get better all around. And I mean, what other kids can play football like he does and also play basketball like he does too. I mean, plays them both really well. So, Gretna has a good one there. All right, so our next one here, this is three down, number four here. Bryce Smoot there at Kell County, the Cavaliers. I think he's only like 5'8", 5'9", probably the same height as me, but the kid is a bulldog on the court. Also plays football too, another football kid. But he's a senior guard, averaged about 19 points per game. And if you watch Carroll County in our rankings, they are always about one loss or two loss. Finish the year at 23-3, with the hard loss in the D3 or Class 3 rankings. Lost to Northside. Then I think they lost to Spotswood as well, who won the state championship. So can't hang your head on two of those losses. So Bryce Smoot there at Carroll County, a really good prospect for the next level.
And
And Bryce, you have set the path work and the footsteps for us to get out there and see Carroll County next year just by, him bringing attention to the school. I apologize for us not being able to get out there and take a look at him firsthand.
it was Bryce. Did he earn Player of the Year for the or Region Player of the Year or Conference Player of the Year? Y'all know?
He had a few awards, yeah, at the end of the year. So I think he made all conference. Region, I have to go back and look at, but I think he was first team all region as well.
Yeah, and Bryce, I just want you to know, Gregory fought hard for you. That's for sure. He
Yes.
wanted you on this list bad. So
Well, we did his highlights not too long ago, and I just watched highlights of him. I mean, the kid just he can shoot outside, he can drive. Like I said, he's a bulldog, and he's gonna get some steals here and there too. So just all over the court, and I like watching that too. So um, Carroll County, Bryce Smoot, is that was at number five now? I'm gonna lose count.
That's number
Four.
four. Yeah.
Here we go. Number five here in our Super 12. Reed Kurtner,
Mm.
there he
the
is.
all-time scoring leader in George with history at 1680 points. He's a senior guard, 19.8 points per game. And guess what? They just won a state championship as well. So Reed Kurtner there at George with.
This
And
team
Reed
might
show
have, this team might have been they might have been a hidden gem out there. And Devin, I got to give him all the credit in the world because he's the first one that brought the attention to us about George Wythe. And once we started following, these guys can play ball, and they didn't hide behind any kind of schedule or walls or anything. They went and played a schedule, and
Yes.
we
yeah,
saw that firsthand.
they were
Arby's
battle
Classic.
tested.
Yep. Arby's Classic played a few games there, and he put up points against everybody. Put up 30 points in the state championship game. I think put up 27 in the semifinal too. So, or 23. Kid can just score. So no matter who
Had
he's playing.
had 25 in the first half of that state championship too, which is
Mm.
nuts.
Yeah.
Absolutely insane.
And I assume he's the player of the year in that conference.
Yeah, he
That
made
Yeah,
region.
he was region and conference Player of the Year, I believe.
yeah. But yeah, senior. I don't know what his plans are for next year. I know he's taking some visits to. I saw Randolph on there, so Coach Key, if he can pull him in, I think he has a dog on him. So Reed Kurtner there at George Wythe. All right, one of our
Mm.
Northside kids. We love watching him play. Big Greg adopted Northside as his team. Michael Harvey, the North Carolina A&T, right, Devin? NC
Oh
A&T
yeah, yep.
commit for football. He does it on the football field, but the kid can play some basketball too, man. Him and his buddy Cy, they do it on the court. 19.7 points per game, 4 rebounds per game. Senior guard.
And I'm just gonna let you know his Twitter bio or X bio has NCAA football and NCAA men's basketball tagged in it. So who knows? We might be seeing him play some basketball at the next level as well, which I think he'd excel at both, to be honest with you.
And one of our camaraderies, our counterparts, had him voted as the player of the year in the Roanoke Valley / Lynchburg area. So, I mean, like I said, if we would have picked Michael, we wouldn't have gone wrong at all. And seeing this kid firsthand in action My God, what a player. What I mean, you sit there and you talk about bodies on a kid. This kid is the epitome of chiseled out of stone, isn't he, Dove?
Oh yeah,
And
especially in a game where you had Kobe Morrison, you had Isaac Smith, you had Cy Hardy playing, Ragland, you had all these athletes on the court. He definitely stood out as like I don't want to say head and shoulders above the rest, but he was definitely the most talented athlete on the court that night, I think.
and I know he was head and shoulders above everybody else on one particular play. I think you collected the highlight on that, and it was so unexpected. I wish we had that highlight right now that would go along. But Gregory, was it Cy that threw the alley oop to him,
I
Devin?
I believe so. I believe so. Yep.
I mean, this kid, what is he, 6'2", 6'3" at most? And he climbed and just come out. It looked like he swung out of the top of the arena, is all I can tell you. He was head and shoulders above everybody else on that dunk.
I might edit this in later and put in that dunk so everyone can see it. So I'll go ahead and say Michael was my player there, but we did like a points ranking system, so he was very close. I mean,
Oh yeah.
he all region, all state, all conference. I mean, won back-to-back state championships, him and Side together. So he's a big reason why Northside has that the state back-to-back championship. So our next one here, one
Mm.
going right next to him, Cy Hardy there at Northside, the senior guard, 18 points per game and 5.4 assists game too. So gets it done scoring and giving out the rock a little bit.
Kid can play on both sides of the floor. Um, he is a bulldog on defense. I don't think he gets the recognition that he should be getting on that side of the court, but kid can play both sides of the basketball court.
And he's just such a heady player too. He does not make a lot of mistakes on the court, and you could tell. I mean, he's definitely one of the best point guards in the state. He's got to be. I mean, just from the one time that we saw him in person and looking at all his highlights, he's unreal, man. He can slash, he can shoot from outside. He does whatever it takes to win, really.
And probably one of the best things that what I think Coach Pope made it very public knowledge was when they beat Lake Taylor, if I'm not
Hmm.
mistaken. And he said Lake Taylor was, kind of going crazy before the game, and he just said something to the effect, real silently towards to the media, that I think they thought they were the defending state champions, and they didn't realize that Northside was. So kind of cool that he come up with that. And hey, he didn't have to say it in a boisterous voice or nothing like that. It was just the fact that, hey, we are Northside.
Also, I believe this happened just last month. Committed to UVA Wise. They're at Blake Mellinger, so they're getting a good one. Really happy for him going to D2 level, so he's very deserving of it.
That's awesome. I'm glad you said that, Greg, because I had no idea. That's awesome.
Yeah, so they're getting a good one. Cy Hardy there at Northside. Next here we have
Mm.
Cole Kaywood at a Patrick Henry Glade Spring, the Rebels. He could easily be a Player of the Year type of award as well, but he's a senior forward slash center. I believe he's 6'7", 6'8", or somewhere around there. 22 points per game and 7.5 rebounds per game. So Frederick Selfie had a good one down there with him and his brother.
I mean, look at the picture of him taking the ball between his legs, like he's getting ready to go up and yoke one on it. But yeah, he could have very easily been on top of the Player of the Year awards. And one of my good friends who's a D3 coach, I won't mention him right now, says this kid is the player that everyone wants and needs on their team. So
His
And
recruitment should heat up pretty soon here. I mean, like with the NCAA coming to an end for a lot of the ODAC teams and their season's over as well. I'm sure he'll be a lot of visits that we'll be for sure watching that.
And I'm not trying to shoo him away from the ODAC whatsoever, but God, couldn't you see him staying close to home and playing with Cy Hardy down at UVA
woo,
Wise? Would that not be a team, man?
mm.
I think it's what he's hoping for too. Just kind of stay home there at Wise. So a lot of options down there too. I mean, you got Emory as well. So a lot of options down there in Southwest Virginia. So we'll see what happens to him throughout the year. All right. Josiah Bryant there at Liberty Christian, the Bulldogs. He's another junior. We've had several juniors in here, so another year to get better. Guard slash forward, 15 points per game and 9 rebounds. So almost averaging a double-double every game. But a big reason why the the Bulldogs made it to the region semifinals there and lost a close one to Western Albemarle, but Josiah Bryant
First team All Seminole. And you know what stands out to me with this picture of him? Y'all not even gonna get it, I'm sure, but do you know
is
what stands out?
his hand.
No. Look at that uniform. That is
Oh,
an old ABA uniform. If y'all don't know what the ABA was, that was the league that was fighting the NBA back in the early 70s, late 60s, early 70s. And dude, that's the uniform of the ABA right there. I'm telling y'all. Go back and look at some pictures. But yeah, this kid, phenomenal, had a great coach, Coach Klein. I mean, like I said, player of the year. Well, I don't know if he was player of the year in the Seminole, but he was first team All Seminole. Once again, could have been top of our poll if not for others.
and
Yeah,
he's our guy.
and
Go ahead, Deb.
first team all region, first team all district, like Big Greg said. He was runner up district player of the year, but Prep Hoops VA has him ranked as number 54 in the class of 2026 right now in Virginia. So, and I'm sure that number is only going to get better as he's only a junior right now. So
I believe if we when we covered him early in the year, I think he had a offer from Fisher College. If that sounds right. Somewhere around there. So he's got some offers already. And like I said, I'm pretty sure he's on a heat up here over the summer as well. So already has a tournament this weekend with the Hill City Crash. So look out for that. They'll get some good players on there too.
I'm surprised Big Brother hadn't offered him already. Maybe they're waiting another year or next year.
Yeah, we'll see. Yeah, that'll be interesting if he can stay home,
Yeah,
right across the street. So we'll see. The Marius Fox out of Salem, the Spartans, a senior guard, 15 points per game and 5 rebounds per game. Um, Big reason why they made it, did as well they did this year. I think they lost like what 4 games, I think 4 or 5 games. But uh, we talked to Coach Garce. We mentioned how they increase their win total just about every year. These seniors are on there, so him and Cam Brown, um, man, what a story.
wow. I mean, the three kids, and we know for a fact that Lemarius was co-player of the year, and I think is that River Ridge?
Yes, yep.
So yeah, and once again, I gotta keep repeating it. We'll have that drinking game, Devin. He could have been very easily been one of our players of the year as well.
and I'll add this too. We talked about Cy Hardy and potentially Cole Kaywood meeting up at UVA Wise down there, but how cool would it be if Maury Fox and Kurtner teamed up there at Randolph College? I mean, that'd be awesome to see. That'd be a deadly 1-2 combo there.
No doubt. That'd be a lot of balls going up and flying in the air, that's for sure.
Also averaged, I think, about 5 assists a game too. So he's doing on every level. So he's getting the boards, shooting, and get some assists there. I mean, he has some great teammates, and Cam Brown and uh, Big Greg's kind of favorite player here, Cam Bowles.
There he
Uh,
is.
There he is,
Only a
dude.
junior. So he's another junior on here. Another year get better for the Salem Spartans there. 15 points per game, 7 rebounds per game. So he's getting it done on the glass and scoring. So I'll let you talk about him, Big Greg.
Well, it's 15.1 points, 7.2 rebounds, and 2.2 assists. A junior, and he was also, along with Flamarius, co-player of the year in that River Ridge district. And listen, he also reached out, I guess through you, Gregory. I was not able to get to that GW Salem game, and he was wanting to know. He was sorry that they actually lost that game and played the way they did, and he hoped that I would come back and see another game when they played better. So I will definitely be in attendance to see Cam Bowles next year.
Yeah, I'm reading what he said here. He said, thank you. It definitely wasn't our best game. Tough environment, large court as well. Um, but yeah, he wanted Big Greg to be there. So I hope if Greg came out to watch us, enjoyed us to play. But I just want to say thank you guys for taking the time to analyze and watch me, not only for me, but also my teammates as well. So just a really, really good kid. Really good kid.
Do we know if Cam has any offers yet or anything like that? Any looks?
He said he's had contact with Randolph Macon. So
Hmm.
Oh,
um,
nice. Be a good spot for him.
yeah. So he's had some looks and he's had some conversations with some other coaches around the ODAC. So wish him luck as well.
I sit there and I look at this kid and I think back, and I know, Devin, we saw Northside with Cy Hardy, Michael Harvey. Ragland on the floor against Isaac Smith, Kobe Morrison, and Zay Cobbs. Just used three. That was six. Well, just think of the game between GW
Mm,
with Isaac, Zay, and Kobe against Cam Fox and what Cam Brown. How about
hmm.
what another? I mean, that would have been a great game to see in
Yeah.
person. I'm sorry that they didn't play up to up to snuff that night, but um, that was also a tough region right there.
Hmm.
Was it Glass, GW, Salem, and I cannot remember who the other one is.
It was Mecklenburg County, I think.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah. What a tough region.
Yeah. Oh yeah. All right. So our next one here, Bryce Giles, only a
Mm,
sophomore there at Nelson County, so
mm.
he has 2 more years. So the only sophomore we have, but I mean, you can't keep a kid off that's averaging a double double, 17.6 points per game and 12 rebounds per game as just a sophomore. Also had that big clutch shot against Gretna as that three to put them up in the region semifinals to carry them on to the region championship game.
And
I tell you what.
Devin saw these guys firsthand.
Yeah, I tell you what. I mean, Nelson County had the Twin Towers down low, and you could that team when those two guys. And I'm sure there's another guy we'll talk about in a little bit. But when Bryce Giles is on his game, I mean, they're hard to beat. That kid, he might take a play off or two to recover a little bit, but when he's on, he's on. And if he wants a rebound, he's going to get that rebound. I'll tell you that much.
And Gregory just mentioned a good point about the three he hit against Gretna. We actually talked to Coach, was it Watson's his last name? Yeah,
Yep.
Teron Watson, and yesterday, and Gregory flat out asked him, "Hey, is he the guy that you wanted to take that shot? Was it no, 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 good shot?" And he absolutely told us. He says, "If anybody's going to take that shot, I'll just assume Bryce Giles take that shot." So
Mm,
he didn't care if it was a two or a three. He said he's the man for the shot. So
And he takes good quality shots too. So, shot 61% from the field. So
mm.
quality shots there. So probably a lot of shots down low where he's hard
and
to contain.
as a sophomore, well, I'll say it again, he could have been our player of the year with those stats for sure.
Yes. I mean, you average a double double. I mean, that's hard to that's definitely consideration there for player of the year. But let's get to that. Player of the year, Colton Ward, only a junior there at Nelson County. Um, Junior Ford Center. I think he's 6'7", 6'8", somewhere around there. I keep saying that, but there are all around that's on that highs. But 20 and a half points per game, 11 rebounds per game, and carried him and Giles carried them to the state quarterfinals there this year in Teron Watson's first year.
Devin, I'll let you speak to it because you were able to see him firsthand. I'm sorry
Man,
that I didn't.
I heard so much about it, and working in Nelson County and everything, heard so much about this Colton Ward kid, how good he is. He's basically a disciple there in Nelson County. How well he's thought of, but went out and saw them play, and man, he's totally the real deal. He's just so much more athletic than I thought he would be. His footwork is down pat. And just like Bryce Giles, like we talked about before, when that kid's on, he's on. And if he wants the rebound, he's gonna get a rebound for you. If he wants a bucket, he's gonna get a bucket for you. And he's hard to stop. I don't know how what they look like at the end of the season, but I just know that kid he probably showed out in every game they played down the stretch.
And
If you're
I was gonna say I'll never forget the Friday night that Devin went to the ball game. And Gregory, I'm sure you were in the same boat. You hear whoever's playing Nelson County, and you go, "Oh, easy win for whoever's playing Nelson County." And that's what I was thinking. And then Devin sends out the text that says, "These two guys are the real deal for Nelson County. Watch out." I'll never forget the text that night.
Yeah, and if things change, way I'm hearing, and for John Marshall, Nelson County might have the first state championship next year, outside of John Marshall for a while. So get their two star bigs down there back for next year. So Teron Watson is probably just look at his lips right now.
And while we're talking about John Marshall, I think something is on the pipeline, coming down the pipeline to derail that scenario as well.
Mm,
I'm not saying I've got firsthand knowledge, but I think it's in the pipe work to change a few things, and if at worst, those guys will be playing up next year.
Mm,
Mm.
okay. Okay. And then lastly, we have a player of the year. Why not have a coach of the year award? And you actually hear his interview right after this. You don't have to go very far for this. Coach Teron Watson there at Nelson County. First year there, first year at Nelson, state quarterfinals, 19-6 record, and Dogwood District champs. Just a big year for them, and he's able to carry this team that was what 7-13 last year.
Yep.
Seven
So
and
he doubled his
13.
wins and you know decreased that those losses by 50% too. So just really great year for him.
Well, Gregory, why you got him up? And people might think, hey, we just talked or just went out and randomly picked a guy or whatever. No, it wasn't that at all. And listen, we finally got a chance to interview him yesterday or today earlier, and you know, but look at the people we've talked to. Um, Coach Ben Elliott at Dan River, Brian Harmon at Floyd County, DJ Best at Glass, who could have easily walked into the Coach of the Year award for us. I mean, I sat there and when we voted upon this thing, the thing that you'll see about DJ Best's team, and we all observed this, there's not a standout kid on that team as far as a number that knocks you right in the face, as far as 20 points a ball game. Everybody's right there in that 9 to 10 point game range, and they just all play together. So he could have very easily been our Coach of the Year. We talked to Kevin Garst at Salem. Look, hey, Bill Pope, the legend himself. I mean, 26-2, another run at a state championship. DeMarcus Morrison, GW, Matt Hunter at New Covenant, Matt Klein at LCA, and Fred Selfie at Patrick Henry Glade Spring. I mean, there's not a team or a coach on that list that did not make the playoffs that I can if I'm missing something, then y'all let me know. But every one of those guys went to the playoffs, and over half of those guys went very far in the playoffs. So, um, like I said, my hat's off to Teron Watson.
Yeah, and I think DJ Best, he was definitely a close second for me. I'm sure it was like that for you guys as well. But I think the thing that really set Coach Watson over the top is you take a team that only wins 7 games last year, a team that finished like 300, according to Max Preps, 310th in the state, to a team who's now a top 100 in the state, which is, I mean, especially in little old Lovingston, Virginia, it's hard to do. So all the props to him there.
I
And
mean,
the other thing, he was really real too, wasn't he, Gregory? Because, I think back to what you said about Josh Merkel when we were interviewing him at the ODAC tournament and his son is running over there and jumping on him. And, when we were interviewing Coach Watson, his youngest son is, in his arms while we're talking to him and he's taking care of business. So, yes, definitely a family man. And, he knows where his priorities are. And I flat out asked him, Devin, I said, you got to be licking your chops about what you've got coming back next year. And he said, yeah, in a way, but he also said that he loses 5 seniors that know how to play basketball this year. So he
Mhm.
has to find a way to make up for that loss.
yeah,
Well,
and
it's a good. What are you saying, Greg?
I still believe that he's a great coach, but I still believe there's something wrong with that court or just wrong with Nelson County in general. That place is a pit, man. I don't get it. You go there and you don't play your game. You can't play a good game at all there up there. Something up there.
He
I
agreed
was gonna,
because he played at William Campbell.
Yeah, just something about Nelson County. You have to go up there and you gotta expect a dogfight.
gonna say it's a good thing that the transfer portal isn't a huge thing in high school basketball because man, I'm telling you, Bryce Giles and Colton Ward would probably be getting the highest deals in the state, man.
Absolutely.
I think Teron Watson would probably be pulling in some kids too, though. So
Yeah. Yeah.
come play for a state championship run, baby. But yeah, Teron Watson, coach of the year there for the District 2 sports. Um, and like
He seemed to be very honored about the award as well.
yeah, he was actually happy about it. So that's awesome. So I'm glad he enjoyed that. And I sent him a couple of pictures like, hey, which one you want on there? So he make sure he picked the right one. So yeah, but Teron Watson. But just a little icing on the cake here. The Super 10 teams to end the year. Our top 10 is actually we pretty much agreed pretty quickly. So it wasn't a lot of fighting at all, surprisingly. So just kind of go through the list here. Northside, 26-2, lost in the state semifinals to the eventual state champions, Spotswood. EC Glass, another state semifinals, lost to Atlee, who won the state championship. So our top two teams made the state semifinals and lost to the state champions. So can't complain about that. George Wythe at 3 won a state championship. Graham at 4 lost in the state championship. So I
Hold on a
mean,
second. Hold on a second before you go any further. Colton, we put Graham in there because we recognize excellence, and we just did not follow the team enough to be able to put a player on the team. So we did do a little recruiting on him, though.
I think is it something Burnett? Yeah, is it Colton Burnett or Colin Burnett? Yeah,
Yeah,
that's who it was. But
yeah.
also DeCivio, I think his dad was reaching out to us too. So I know they both listen. So Graham High School right there at number
And they,
4.
they played John Marshall in the state
Yep,
title, right?
Yeah,
yep.
And a
gave him all they could.
valiant effort. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
I was
80
pulling.
points.
I was
I'm
pulling
not
for
sure how many
Graham.
times.
Yeah,
Not sure how many times they've given up 80 points this year in a game. So
yeah,
especially to 2A teams.
yeah. So look for Graham to be back there next year. Great team with Channing DeCivio, only a sophomore, and then also Markel Ray as well. So congratulations to the Graham on a great run. Carroll County, state quarterfinalists. They're at 23-3, lost to the state champion, Spotswood. GW, 21-4, lost in a very close one to EC Glass in the region semifinals. Just another great game there. Floyd County at 7 at 20-6. I believe they lost in the state quarters as well. No, state
yep.
semifinals to Graham,
Lost
right?
to Graham. Yep.
Yep. Close one there as well. Salem at 8, 20-5, lost to GW in the region. I guess was that first round quarters.
Hmm.
Yep.
Nelson County, state quarterfinalists there, lost to Floyd County in the region championship, and I think they lost to
Lost to
Graham.
Floyd. Floyd.
Was I know they lost to Floyd in the state or in
Yep.
the region championship. I
And
think
then
they lost
lost
to
to
Graham in the
Graham. Yeah.
Graham
Okay.
state quarters, and then Liberty Christian there at 26,
And
rounding
and
out.
we let's go ahead and give Coach Klein the sorrow because we threw the voodoo hex on him by saying
Yeah,
we could see them winning the state championship coming out of that region. So,
I hope he's not
Coach
listening.
Klein, I know, I'm sorry, Coach Klein, but look, you know, here's our top 10, for the teams. Look, I just want to bring mention to a few people and let them know, hey, we did think about you in the process, and we had you in and out of the polls all along, and that would be Patrick Henry Glade Springs, Gretna, Allegheny, Apo, Alta Vista, William Fleming, Halifax, Rustburg, Glenvar. All I can say is win your games next year, and you could be a part of this poll next year.
I think next year maybe we open it up a little bit more, and maybe we will do private schools. I've always had a it's just so different. They don't play the same talent, playing
Yeah.
a whole lot of different teams, so it's hard to put privates in the preps together. So we'll have to figure that one out. But just a great year overall for basketball for District 2, I believe. I mean, ODAC, high school, top tens, player of the years. I mean, it was just a really fun year for basketball.
And I'll say this: it was off. It was really fun. It was awful fun for the whole year, and the other thing is we probably didn't see 25 to 30% of the games or the kids play. And, I just see it now that where I'm going to make this a priority so that when we talk about some of these kids from now on, it's going to be, somewhat personal as far as, hey, I saw this kid play. I could see what he does besides just seeing it on a highlight. So I'm going to make that extra effort next year. I can tell you that.
Yeah. And I hope to be up there next year, so hopefully I'll catch some games too. So we'll figure it out. But fellas, end of the year awards, great basketball season. Get your brackets in, okay? Go to
And
X,
Gregory,
Facebook, get your brackets.
let me say one more thing.
Oh yeah.
Um, I'm sure we're subject to, I don't know, I won't say retaliation. I don't think that's a good word to say, but I'm sure this is all, predicated upon what we've seen, who we've talked to and stuff like that. So listen, if anybody has any remarks or has a suggestion or anything to that effect, listen, if you don't agree with something, how about this? How about saying, give us a name, give us an example instead of just saying, I just don't think, you know what I'm saying? I just want to hear who you, if anybody feels any different about things, just tell us who you think should have been here or who you think, I mean, if it comes down to player of the year, who your choice was. I will. we'll be more than happy to listen to you. I mean, it's not going to change what we've done, but hey, I think every every comment is very valuable, especially later on down the road.
I have enjoyed is it mostly Graham, but some other teams too. They like they get on the social media. They like to let us know what's going on. So I enjoy it. So any suggestions, any comments, let us know. It's just fun to interact with our fans and some of that. So oh, and shout out to I think his name is Steve. I don't know his last name. I think it's Steve Myers maybe. There in the Roanoke area. Called me the other day, told me he had an interview possibility, so I followed up with that. So hopefully we'll get that done too. So shout out to Steve. I think I called him Pete when I first got on there. I thought I heard Pete, but it's actually
Mm.
Steve. So
Phenomenal for butchering names, Bo.
Steve, he's heard enough of our episodes. He should know I'm not good with names.
Hey, listen, can we let the cat out of the bag for I guess next week?
It'd be Friday.
This coming Friday?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, and I guess we're all on the same page. I just welcome everybody to listen to our newest friend and coach of the Bryn Ethan Lions. We went way out of our cruising lane, I guess you want to say. But it was too good to pass up. I'm gonna tell you right now, this guy is the head coach of Bryn Athyn, the D3 team that made it to the NCAA tournament for the first time ever. And they've only been in existence, Devin, if I'm not mistaken, 4 years or so, or he's only been coach for 4 years or something to that effect.
Yeah,
But
this is fourth season there. Yep. But
yeah,
he's
and
only the second coach in program history.
okay, so that's what it is. Yeah, so I think if they've only been around for like 6 or 8 years, and only the second head coach. Sean Westerlin. Um, Dude is, I called him a Yankee rebel because he born and raised, I guess, or in Maryland and worked in Maryland and played ball in Maryland, and then he goes to work in right outside Philly, so he has to maneuver along that Mason-Dixon line. So, but I mean, what a warrior! I mean, the guy is smart as a whip. He's got more degrees than any than a thermometer, and he's just a all-around good guy. And Gregor, you would have been so proud of us at this press conference. I'm telling you, you would have been so proud of us at that press conference.
He's supposed to text us that interview. I want to get at him or something. I don't know what's going on here.
But
So
yeah, it was really fun. But he was, I just as soon as we got up off or they were getting ready to leave the room, my only thing I think of was, Coach, can we talk to you? At some point in time on this podcast, and he was. I think he would have done it that night. Actually, he was
yeah,
so interested. He was really good. But what a
yeah.
classy guy.
They'll be going. They'll be out Friday, and then but tonight or today we have our Coach of the Year, Teron Watson. So let's get to that interview. All right, so District 2 Sports Podcast. We're back with another great episode here. We're joined by Teron Watson, first year head coach of the Nelson County Governors. Coach, how are you doing today?
Doing well. How are you guys?
Good, Coach.
Doing
Well,
wonderful.
we know you had a terrific year. We want to talk some basketball, but kind of the thing we want to get you on here for is we actually do some end of the year awards. So we kind of want to talk to you about some of these things. So I'll let Big Greg take it from here.
Okay.
Coach, like I said, appreciate you taking some time with us. And listen, we've talked to a few coaches this year,
Mhm.
on both the high school and on the college levels. But let me run down a few names for you, just so you know that we're somewhat legit here.
Yeah.
We started this podcast back in the summer, and it's actually grown, and we're looking for take off and go higher and higher. But anyway, we've talked to Brian Harmon at Floyd. I think you pretty know Mr. Harmon by now, since y'all have met
Yes,
up a
sir.
couple times.
Yeah.
DJ Best up at Glass,
Yeah. That
Kevin
DJ's a great
Garst,
guy.
yeah, Kevin Garst at Salem,
Okay.
Bill Pope at Northside, DeMarcus Morrison at GW, Matt Hunter at New Covenant, Matt Klein at LCA, and then Fred Selfie out at Patrick Henry Glade Springs.
Okay.
So just some of the guys that we've talked to this year, and we decided that this year would in our first year we look at a little bit of Dave Walls here and there on SCT and stuff like that, and we see a little some polls on Channel 7 and stuff, and we said, hey, why not the District 2 Super 12 basketball team and our Coach of the Year? And we just wanted to let you know that we've we've been watching you guys all year. We hadn't had a chance to talk to you, but we are right now naming you the District 2 Sportscast Coach of the Year for the high school level. So we can't thank you enough for your time, and we just think you've done so much there at the school. And um, my son Devin, younger son Devin, he was able to get to a couple of your games this year, and he said, no doubt, it was texting straight from the stands. We've got to keep our eyes on Nelson County. So congratulations, Coach. Uh,
Thank you.
and it's our first award we've given out. So I just wanted to let you know.
Appreciate that. I feel blessed and honored to receive that first award, and definitely an amazing achievement. We had an amazing team, so an amazing coaching staff put together. So I really appreciate that.
Well,
Well,
Coach, the
we
reason
wanted
why
to let,
we go ahead.
no, what I was going to say was I'll go ahead and let the cat out of the bag as well. I mean, it's kind of a double duo, and we I said a few moments ago that we named a top 12 as far as players in the area as well,
Mhm.
and our area began to branch out a little bit as the year went on a little bit. So we kind of got out towards the southwest a little bit further. But the other thing I wanted to let you know is that, and I don't know if he knows it yet or not. I don't know what Gregory's let out the bag as of yet, but Colton Ward is also our Player of the Year for Nelson County as well. So,
That's
um,
amazing. That's great.
yes, we
I'll be
we
sure
think
to
a lot about you
let him
guys.
know.
Yeah.
Yep. Thanks a lot.
Well, the reason why we chose you as Coach of the Year is because we're looking at Nelson's kind of schedule from last year. They finished I think 7-13 and make a
Hmm.
huge jump this year. I mean, double
Yeah.
up your wins. You go 19-6. You're Dogwood District champs,
Hmm.
region runner up, and you make it to the state quarters. So, um, kind of let us know what why right this year and how you're able to improve upon that much.
Well, looking at last year, we were 7-13 last year. We were 1-9 on the road, 6-4 6-4 at home. And just, looking at that, looking at the roster, only one senior graduated from the previous year, and looking at some of the talent that was coming back, I knew that this could be a team that could be special. From the first practice, we talked about, trying to change that, winning on the road, and trying to protect home court. I think we've done a good job of that. We played 21 regular season games, 14 of them being on the road. I didn't plan that, but
Wow.
it happened, and I think it helped us out in the long run. We went from 1-9 on the road to 11-4 on the road overall, and we were 7-8-0 at home. So a huge improvement from a year ago. And that the kids, they came in and they worked really hard. They adapted to the workouts and to the mindset we as coaches brought to them, and I mean that's one of the biggest reasons why we were able to be successful this year.
Coach, you start off 5-3 at the beginning of the year. Well, 5-0. Let's start with that. You start off 5-0. I'm sure heads is in the clouds a little bit, and on to greener pastures, I guess, and
Yeah.
soon to be state champions, I guess. But so, what happens when you hit that little stretch where you go Stanton? Uh, I forget who that is in the
Atlanta.
middle. That Fluvanna, yeah, and then Monticello.
Well, it was three really good games that tested our team. For talking about Stanton, they had two really good guards that can put the ball in the basket really well. They had a good team around them that could shoot really well, and that kind of gave us some fits early on, especially those two smaller guards. But it was again a good test for us in the long run. I think they lost 2 or 3 games this season, so it wasn't a loss that we had to say, all right, this was a bad loss. Um, for Fluvanna, they had some really good athletes, and uh, we battled with them. Different officiating, but I'm not going to put it on that because we have to play the game and deal with any type of adversity that comes. But it was one that if it's one game we want it back, we want that game back. Felt like we could have got that one, and but hats off to them and Coach Heath. He's a great guy, great coach, and the Monticello game. I thought that was a game that we matched up well with them. They matched up well with us. It was a game that really challenged us. We hadn't seen anyone that matched our size yet, so I think that was a good game for us. as far as being able to go against somebody that matched our size and our physical ability. So when those three games happened, those three losses happened in a row, we were like, we're at that fork in the road. Do we want to go left, because we hit some adversity, or do we want to continue to be positive and get over this hump, and then right back at it. Short term memory, we go out and we play Sharando, and get us right back on track. We're down 13 just after halftime against Sharando, and we fought back and took the lead and won that game. And we were right on track after that.
Well, Coach, yeah, you're right about that because the last end of the month there, last month of playing, you guys kind of find your groove there. You
Mm-hmm.
avenge a loss to Gretna. You're beating Appomattox, you're beating Dan River. Um, what happened at that point? Was it just players getting more experienced? Were they getting more comfortable in your system, or you guys just found it and just kind of went with it?
I think they got a little bit more comfortable and confident in themselves. I think that was one thing that they were missing, a little bit of self-confidence. We had several guys that didn't play much the previous year, Colton Baker being one. We After the Gretna game, we started Colton Baker just about every single game, and that's when we went on that 11-game win streak. Uh, but he ended up shooting the ball really well for us. Kevin Knight, another kid who didn't play much minutes the previous year, that stepped into a role where he was asked, and he stepped up and played a huge role in that. The four starters that returned, Jack Winter, Aiden, Colton Ward, and Bryce Giles, they were great leaders for us, and Jack really stepped up well as well also.
Coach, I didn't mention it earlier, but in that top 12 players that we come up with, we also placed Bryce Giles on the team as well.
Mm-hmm.
So how much do he and Colton, how do they complement each other?
Well, man, I mean, you got two guys that's averaging a double-double, averaging five offensive rebounds each. It just helps us out a lot. Bryce is a little bit of he can do a little bit more than Colton does, that we ask for. Sometimes Bryce may be one of our top assist guys. He may be one of our top shooters. He's for sure been our best rebounder, and probably at times just our best player on the floor. He's been really great for us, and they play really well off each other. Again, they like to we can do a little high-low action with them, with Bryce being giving a post entry or something like that. And, vice versa, we can have Colton out on the wing, post entry to Bryce, and, they both could step out there and shoot it from the three. So they complement each other really well.
Well, we know that, Colton is what, 6'7", 6'8". Bryce is a hoss. I mean, that guy fills up
Yeah.
some space. You guys
Yeah.
are getting 40 rebounds a game, 13 offensive rebounds per game. That's 13 extra looks you get at
Yeah.
scoring
Yeah.
again. But the most impressive thing I saw was that you have 16 assists a game. How
Yeah.
have you guys bought into sharing the basketball and getting the best shot possible?
Just trying to play a little bit faster. Obviously, when you play a little bit faster, and you're not having to run a set, or slow it down, especially at the high school level. And the kids aren't thinking as much. They're just playing off of instincts a little bit more. Um, the ball gets to get to the right person at the right time, and that's what I kind of preach. Doesn't matter who's scoring, as long as we're scoring, the ball's going to find the right person when the right time comes. Just always be ready to be in that position to score. We shot the ball a little bit better this year. I think the previous year we made probably about three 3-pointers, 3 or 4 3-pointers a game. This year we were at about 5 or 6. So that adds to it. And then obviously getting points in the paint, or being able to feed Bryce and Colton in the paint sometimes it helps us out with that assist. But we played a lot faster, which helped a lot more guys step up and score outside of Bryce and Colton Ward.
Coach, you got to be licking your chops. I know you got you holding a lot in right now. I can tell.
Yeah.
I mean, you know that what you got coming back next year. How does the future look at Nelson County?
It's bright. We're losing 5 seniors. When it comes to the points per game, and that production is not a lot, but it's 5 seniors that were really great leaders. 3 of those seniors are smart kids. They're always making the right plays. They're 4.7, 4.75, 4.8 GPA kids. So losing that is going to be tough. But we have some guys that can step in. and kind of, take on that role from a production standpoint. And then, our main three guys have to, improve from the previous year. So I'm excited about what we have coming back. But again, I'm excited for the work we can actually put in from, we'll start open gyms probably in April, from the work we put in from April to November. So I'm excited about that process and seeing what we can improve on so that we can be prepared to make a state run next year.
Coach, I see that y'all get, and I'm talking about coaches now. You guys are getting younger and younger and younger. And does it help you with, I guess, bridge that age gap between, you and a high school sophomore, high school junior? And the other part I was going to ask you was, I'm assuming you're a past William Campbell General, I guess, being from Naruna. Does it
Mm-hmm.
help also that you are familiar with the Dogwood district and the gymnasiums and stuff like that? Does that also come into play as well?
Yes, sir. So yeah, I think the coaches we're getting younger and younger. We're able to relate more with the kids, and it's a different era, um, where when I was in high school, that old school coaching, that hard nosed coaching, we were able to adjust and adapt and respond to that. And sometimes, in this generation, it's not always about that. How you talk to kids, how you it's really important to how they respond. And I think the coaches, myself and Coach Ware, Coach Thomas, and Coach Dalton, who were my assistant coaches. Um, we've done a really good job of being able to relate with the kids, relate messages to the kids in a way that they understood, and they were able to respond in a positive way to it. And then being that, I coached at William Campbell for 5 years, so I was familiar with all the schools, and coming back to Dogwood, definitely um, helped out a little bit, being familiar with the teams, being familiar with the type of kids that's usually coming through, that we're going to be playing against, whether it's going to Chatham and or going to Dan River or Appomattox or Alta Vista. So definitely better prepared the second stint around going into the Dogwood.
Coach, I don't know what it is. I played at Chatham. We had to travel up to Nelson County and play, every year. What
Mm-hmm.
is it about Nelson County that makes it so tough to play there? I don't know if it's the bus trip or just the floor. There's something
It was
mysterious
always
about Nelson
something with the
County.
floor, right?
Yeah.
My wife's from Nelson. And she's related like Thomas Brown, those kids, those guys that won the state championship in 2008. And we talk a little trash back and forth to each other, but it's always that long ride, um, and it's just a little bit different. You get on the bus, you're on their bus for about an hour, hour and a half. Then you got to get off the bus. The floor feels like it's a little bit different. You're in the mountains, so it's just a different atmosphere. Um, and for us, it's a great advantage. But on the flip side, we're gonna have to take those hour-long trips and stuff like that to play in Chatham, play in the smaller gyms where the crowd's a little bit more impactful, um, and kind of can get under your skin if you allow it. So it's a great advantage to have for
But
sure.
what a fantastic gym though. It's a
Yes, it is a
it's
nice
a
gym, really
beautiful
nice gym.
place. And listen, I'm gonna say this out loud. I don't know how loud I can say it without getting in trouble, but I'm a huge Carolina fan. So
Hmm.
that NC
Yep.
on those baseball caps that I saw all those coaches wearing, I
Hmm.
wanted to just, if somebody would have laid one down when I was up there at the game, I was going to jump out of that gym and take off running with because I love
Yeah.
the Packer colors. So, Nelson County and North Carolina just went together every time I got up there. And then you see that NC in the middle of the floor. So I felt like I was right at home.
Yeah. I'm a North Carolina fan as well, so I enjoyed that. I didn't enjoy when they had that Packers G because I'm a Dallas fan, and it just frustrated me when I think about the catch with Des Bryant and the field goal at the end and all that stuff that Packers have hurt us in the playoffs. So, but yeah, definitely that NC is definitely reminding me of North Carolina. So definitely love that.
Coach,
Mhm.
I think your wife might have you on that those Thomas Brown stories. I mean, that kid used to pull up past half court and it was going in every time.
Man, I know when we played against him, our goal was like we can't allow him to hit those shots. We can't allow him to score 30 points. That was our mindset. You know, it was going to be a tough one to win that, try to win the game, but we know we didn't want him to score his 30 points. We used to read in the newspapers 40 points here and there. I'm like, there's no way we can allow that. That's one thing we can't allow. We got to have pride on the defensive side. So, yeah.
Gregory, didn't he light y'all up for 51?
Yeah, my
No.
sophomore year, he went crazy on us at Chatham.
Ooh.
Yeah,
Oh,
Yeah,
50,
so, okay.
I think it was the year they won the state championship. He went off, and then, yeah, we got him back
And
my senior year though.
Chatham had a really good group. They had Purcell Kelly. They had
Yes, we had Ward. We had oh my gosh, I'm blanking on all those teams.
Solomon, Witcher,
Witcher. Yep. I think the
Marcus.
Mario guy was the year before.
Yep.
I do remember Cordero Word. I do remember Trevor Calloway.
Yes.
I mean, those that Chatham had a really really good team.
They could just never
Really
put it together, get to that get to the states and win it all. So I
good.
think they got close, but just could never put it together.
Yeah, I know my sophomore year, it was us and them representing the region, the Dogwood district in the region. We got the luck. We got a bad draw playing Chesterfield Community, which is now Carver Academy.
Mm.
They had a kid named Anthony Sally that went on. I think he played at Eastern Kentucky, um, and played overseas some years. But really good player. They had another kid that was my age, or he might have been a freshman, went to Grambling State. That was pretty good. But they played Goochland that year and beat Goochland by like 40 points. I do remember that. And Cordero Word, he hurt his shooting hand, and I think he scored like 20 points with his left hand.
I mean, just unreal talent there.
Yeah,
Um, Last couple for me, I do want to bring up that so the region playoffs. Me and you talked about it. Like I thought it was kind of weird how you guys kind of won the Dogwood, but had to go play on the road for the kind of the region. I guess that was semifinals, but um, classic game. Bryce Childs hits a 3-pointer to put you guys ahead. Talk
yeah,
about that ending of that game.
man. So I was tell hats off to Coach Lee at Gratna, man. He's a great guy. He's been grinding as an assistant coach for a long time. Finally got that that moment to be a head coach, and he's been doing a hell of a job at Gretna. He had the defense that dominant one on us. It really frustrated us and caused us some problems. It probably took me about two and a half, 3 quarters to realize that it was a dominant one and not a 3-2, just by the way they were playing it. But going into that fourth quarter, we put ourselves in a position to, still be within reach to win the game. And you know, we we talked about scoring points in the paint. That was the main thing. Scoring points in the paint. I think we had 12 points in the paint the entire game. So we had some guys that really stepped up and made some big shots. I think Kevin Knight hit two shots for us in the second half, that kept us in the game. George Knight, he hit a big time 3-pointer to begin the fourth quarter, for us when we had to pull Colton out because he was in foul trouble. I think every run they had, we responded with some sort of three-pointer that we made, and you know kept us in the game. And then right there, that last minute, Gretna's was been money from the free throw line, 6 for 8 going into the fourth quarter, and they go 2 for 8 in the fourth quarter and go 1 for 6 in the final. I want to say the final minute and a half of the game. So again, being in that position, I think Jack turns the ball over with about 34 seconds left, and we're down by 4 because they scored on the layup, and he comes right back down and responds and hits a 3-pointer for us to put us within reach. We foul Logan, and he goes 1 for 2 from the free throw line, and going into that, Bryce had probably about 3 or 4 straight turnovers when he's got the ball in the high post. But he gets the rebound. He has the ball in his hand, and I'm thinking, go to the basket. It's there. Go to the basket. Go to the basket. And when he passed, I was like, all right, I should probably call a timeout. But again, screen and popped, kind of like a ghost screen, and he said it was no way he was going to go for the tie. He was going for the win, and he made a huge shot. So it was an amazing moment. Again, 3 seconds left on the clock. still couldn't really celebrate when he made the shot, but when that clock went to zero, it was real huge relief and excitement. Excitement. I say that, man. It was. I don't think I've been a part of a shot that huge, or as far as a well, yeah, as far as a player in high school, um, that was the biggest shot I was able to see and experience as a coach. So amazing moment, amazing
Was it
moment.
one of those
Yeah.
no, 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 yes, yes, yes kind of moments?
Well, I'm not going to say it was no, no, no because I know he's one of our better 3-point shooters. But I was thinking, go to the basket. It's there. Go to the basket. You know, if anything, you get the and one. But when he pulled it, you know, that's one of his sweet spots, I should say. Um, it looked good, and it was all she wrote. Made that shot, and it was all good.
Last one.
But if he misses that shot, I'm okay with it. We had an open shot, and we had the ball in one of our best players' hands.
That's awesome. That's good. That's great. Great coaching there. And then last one for me. I mean, you guys next two games, you lose a really close one in overtime to Floyd by 5.
Yeah.
And you still make it to the state quarters. Play against a really good Graham team that lost in the state championship to John Marshall. But what does that experience do for your players this year to get them ready for next year?
So I think the experience it gives us some confidence. Talking thinking about the Floyd game, we controlled that game for probably 30 minutes. I think it was a spurt that they had in the third or fourth quarter where they took the lead for the first time in the game. It was the fourth quarter. They took the lead for the first time in the game. We responded like that. So we controlled the game the entire time. And, you know, that last 2 minutes, 2.5 minutes, you know, turn the ball over, miss some free throws and make some mistakes there. In the end, for our young men, we were upset. We were down, but we knew that we belonged. We knew that this is a team that can be special. We knew that what we have returning, we have a good opportunity to be right back in this position and learning from that our mistakes that we made in the previous year. And then going back to Graham, I think it's the same thing. You know, we were we were there for most majority of the game, but we just couldn't get over that hump. They controlled the game really well. More athletic team than I've seen on film. Definitely a physical team, more physical team that we were kind of used to outside of Gretna and a couple of the other schools in the Dogwood. But it's definitely some good experience. It's definitely some eye opening for our guys, and I think, you know, with that experience, we're better prepared for next year. And I think, you know, everything that went on that went on throughout the year, playing on the road, it helped us in some sort of way be prepared for not only the 11 game win streak we went on, but it's going to help us prepare for the next year with the returning group we have.
Coach, I really don't have a question, but I wanted to let you know that, in all sincerity, we, looking highly upon, Nelson County and its bright future. Um, congratulations on this epic award you just pulled off here with us.
Thank you.
We're going to definitely get you a District 2 Sports podcast koozie and a t-shirt. And if anybody has any ailments such as muscle strains, pulls, needs physical therapy, our youngest one, he is in Lovingston at a PT clinic right there on 29. So send them on
Okay.
down the road down there. So,
Yes, sir.
but in all sincerity, what I wanted to let you know is, and we're not the all be all, cure all thing here, but we have reached out to, especially on the D3 level and a couple of the D2s and a little bit of NAIA. But if you've got kids that need to be looked at, we'll be more than happy to help you along in that process. We've interviewed pretty much everybody in the ODAC, and then of course Mellinger over at UVA Wise, and then down at Patrick Henry Community College. So we're moving on around. We haven't got to that D1 level yet. We haven't been allowed on that. Haven't gained access, I guess, to that gate yet. But no. But in all sincerity, if I know that you probably don't need any help moving Bryce or Colton along, but if it does come down to something that somebody needs to look at somebody or needs information, we do a recruiting aspect of our podcast during the week.
Yeah.
And Gregory's good enough where he's IT literate, whereas I'm illiterate, and he puts a recruiting podcast together, and we ship off a kind of a blitz to all the coaches in the area, college coaches in all the area with kids highlights and stuff like that. So if we can help out,
Okay.
just let us know. Be more than
Yes,
happy.
sir. Yes, sir. I really appreciate that.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
All right. Well, Coach, we held you a little bit longer, but Coach
All
Teron
right.
Watson of the Nelson County Governors, Coach, thank you so much.
Thank you all.
Thank you, Coach.